blockchain game world with me, John Jordan. So looking today at Shrapnel. So Shrapnel got in the news last week with a $20 million funding round. So that takes its total funding to $30 million, which is fairly large for a blockchain game. Although this is a pretty large team now, up to 70 people based in the US. And they are making what I think we could probably say is the sort of most AAA blockchain game that's out there. I mean, you could argue about that exactly, but it's definitely one of the ones that you would place up there in terms of graphical fidelity. Uses Unreal Engine. The team is used to be the HBO internal console development team, so very experienced in making very high-end games. And now they've got $30 million budget. Well, they've spent 10 million already, I suppose. So 20 million funding that they've announced, which is sort of roughly what you need to make a sort of high-end game these days. Maybe they'll need some more money for marketing, that sort of stuff. Who knows? Anyway, in conjunction with that press release, they also spoke about the fact that they're releasing the initial playable version of the game as a paid version. So the game has not been playable up to this point. There's only been really one there was one big sort of gameplay video that was released a while ago now, start of 2023. So no one's really played it apart from some internal testing and some people at special shows. But now they're going to go for a playable version. And the way they're doing that is with these, you have to buy basically a key. They're calling them extraction packs. So Shrapnel is an extraction shooter. So that means it's a sort of game where you have to go into maps and pick up items and then try and escape from the map, from what's going on in the map with those items. And if you get shot, you lose those items. So sort of has that risk reward. It's very sort of it's an interesting sort of discussion in the gaming space about whether those extraction shooters. So the famous one was Escape from Tarkov, as a PC shooter, did really well, but was quite niche. So there is this argument that these games are quite niche in terms of they're not mass market games, but the people who like them really like them. And I guess the idea is if you add sort of blockchain to these sort of elements, can you make them a bit more mainstream? And what Shrapnel is doing in the long term is building up this big sort of user generated content piece, which is people building maps. As was sort of really popular for CS:GO in the early days, or even now, building maps was sort of a big sort of part of that game's success. So that's what's going on in the sort of long term. In the short term, they're building this first playable, and you have to have one of these extraction packs to play. So again, another sort of a balancing act that Shrapnel is dealing with is it a Web 2 game or a Web 3 game? And it's always been, I think, fairly clear that they've wanted to have like a Web 2 sort of a stream for people who just want to play it like a normal game. So you're playing the game, you're buying stuff in the game with in-app purchases, probably battle passes, all that sort of stuff. And there's also a Web3 sort of flow as well. But I guess over time the emphasis it places on these two things has changed. So if we look here, here we are towards the end of 2023 with this playable version coming out. You have to buy one of these packs to get the early access. So it starts with $20, $50 or $100, and no mention of NFTs here. So you get one operator. I'm assuming this is the operators of the characters. You get a gear pack, 6 weeks of daily drops, one consumable pack, and more stuff post early access. So this is just a quick rundown. So for this one, you get a choice between the two operators and more daily drops and packs. And here you have a choice between 3 operators, gear packs, 36 weeks, blah, 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 2 exclusive skins, and giftable extraction packs. This is quite interesting. With this one, you can gift a light extraction pack, this one to share with a friend. But there's no mention of NFTs here. The reason I said is I can, because interestingly, I haven't purchased this. So it says here purchase, so the $100 pack has been purchased, and that's been purchased for me because I have one of the NFTs. So there's a whole bunch of character NFTs. We can have a look at those. So these came out actually June 2022, the operator collection. So typical sort of thing that went on then, 10,000 items in June 2022. These actually minted out at 0.05 ETH. I can't remember what ETH was back then. Probably probably maybe not that far off where we are now. But so you can see we're 0.13 ETH now. So from the mint price, if you just take it in ETH at least, the price has doubled. Obviously, there's been a lot of movement during that period of time. These are the common ones. There's we can go through the usual sort of stuff where there are. I can't even find it here. Where there are some rare ones as well. I can't think if they're. We could just have a look and see if the. I think it's only rare and common. Yeah, so these are the ones that are priced at ridiculous prices. And there's basically five different types of operator, and then there's sort of obviously the usual sort of variations on them, and obviously some of these look more rare than others, but these are not sort of playable characters. That's the interesting sort of balance I think that they're trying to do is these are sort of operators, and these act as early access passes, but only because people who buy these and have set up their accounts, you have to set up a game account here. And you then get you get one of these given to you because you bought one of the NFTs in the first place. So that's sort of an interesting sort of situation. Actually, the other thing I was going to have a quick look at was we can see the sort of change in price here. So obviously they announced their funding last week. Funding's generally announced quite a bit after it actually has happened. And we can sort of see, actually, if we go back, that there was a whole bunch of purchasing going on here. So normally, we look here, there was 11, 5, 3 NFTs being traded, and then suddenly we had sort of 49, 40, 49. So quite a lot of activity happening there at sort of mid-October. And actually we can see the price, if we go back even further, we can see the price has sort of actually doubled back since sort of August time. So if we look right back to August, we were almost at 0.05, just over, and now with various bumps, we're up to over 0.012 ETH, and we can see there's a whole bunch of sort of selling, trading activity happening here. So you can clearly see sort of the way that this has sort of jumped off, and some of this I'm sure was sort of probably before the press announcement was actually out, and obviously a whole bunch of it's sort of been happening after that. So a big big jump here on the I think this is when it came out 23rd, something like that. Yeah, that sort of period of time. That's more than one day. So anyway, what will be interesting to see, obviously, with Shrapnel is when that first playable does come out. As with a lot of these sort of more high-end blockchain games, they just do take a long time to make, and even now Shrapnel with that playable will not be a finished game. It will be a sort of a first playable, which just means probably one map, and more sort of stuff will be released over time. And I think the whole sort of plan for the creator tools is even sort of well into 2024, because that's a whole sort of different sort of scenario. You're not making a game there, you're making the tools to help people to make games effectively. But it'd be interesting to see how this plays out, and we can see already that the price of these NFTs has jumped. Even though I guess if you bought one now, you wouldn't be airdropped one of the marketplace packs. There would have been a snapshot taken about who had what there. But more generally, I guess as we see games like Shrapnel come out, they gain a lot of sort of profile, and then people are looking to buy these sort of assets over time as well. So good to see that happening at least. So yeah, keep it here. But obviously, if my computer can run Shrapnel, which I'm not sure it will be able to, we'll do some videos about that as well in due course. But thanks for watching this one.